What is going down, Mishima? My name is TetraNinja, and I welcome you to episode 4 of Weapons Face-Off. And this is a series that I have been doing for a while now, where I take two weapons that are somewhat similar, compare them, give you my advice on how to use them, and my overall opinions on them. And if you're new to this series, I've already done the MP5K versus the AK-74U, the FAMAS versus the AUG, as well as the G11 versus the M16. And obviously by the title today, we're doing the AK-47 versus the Commando. And despite these weapons looking completely different, they're very similar as we move straight into their stats. And as you can see, it had the exact same damage rate of 40 to 30 near and far respectively, the exact same rate of fire at 750 rounds per minute, same ammo cache at 90 rounds, same mag size at 30 rounds, and they do have slightly different reload. The reload on the Commando is a little bit faster at 2.05 to 2.55 on empty, whereas the AK-47 is a little bit slower at 2.5 to 3.25 on empty. And as you can see from this chart, they also have the exact same recoil. And just as a refresher of what recoil is the area within 4 points and the random chance of a weapon kicking anywhere within that area. The recoil causes the player's view to travel in that direction. So a higher number ultimately means a faster camera jump and ultimately more recoil. So the kick focuses on the average between the points. So if a weapon has a kick left of 10 and a right of 60, then in most cases it'll kick to the right. But in cases where the recoil is balanced, such as a left of 60 and a right of 60, then you just have equal chance of it jumping either way. Moving on to the only thing that really separates these two weapons, which are the iron sights. And at this point, it only comes down to preference. I know a lot of people who like the unobstructed view of the top of the AK-47, but personally myself, at long distances, I feel that it kicks too much upwards and you sometimes lose enemies at longer distances. So I tend to stick with the Commando, even though I know for a fact that medium distances, the AK-47 is beast, but short distances you're going to get outpowered by submachine guns, and at longer distance, like I said, you sometimes lose to enemies in the iron sight. So in general, I stick with the Commando. Alright, let's move right into perk setups, and as always, the ones in the boxes are the tiers of perks I generally stick with. But the green and the blue perk really doesn't matter. It comes down to preference. I just go with Hardline and Ninja. But for these weapons, I highly suggest you go with the Hardened. And the reason you want to go with Hardened is because these assault rifles only fire at 750 rounds per minute, which is pretty slow in comparison to the AUG and the FAMAS that fire at 937.5 rounds per minute. But despite the fact that they fire slower, this means that you shouldn't have to reload them as quickly or as often as those other two assault rifles. As well, because of the fire rate, you don't want to be going up close in case you run into the also popular AK-74U or faster firing assault rifles. But so you want to stay long to medium range with them, and if you're staying to those ranges, most likely you're picking off enemies behind cover. So that's why I generally stick with the Hardened Pro attachment. Like I said, you don't have to reload it as often, and you have to respect the abilities of the weapon in the fact that it doesn't fire that quickly. So to compensate for not being able to reload as fast like all my other assault rifles except for the M16 where I use a red dot sight, I always use dual mags on my assault rifles. And what dual mags will do is compensate for the sleight of hand by giving you a faster reload every other time, so your first, your third, fifth, and so on reload. As well, it kind of takes the place of scavenger in giving you extra ammo. You could also run the extended mags, which is also a viable option. And even though, like I said in previous videos, I hate the suppressors in this game, I find that these two weapons are the only ones that they're slightly manageable. So if you want to be stealthy like a ninja, these two weapons I find are capable of handling a suppressor in my opinion. Alright, so as always, that's enough about that in the stats and all the information. Let's move right into gameplay. Once again, a free-for-all on the map Launch. And like I said in my previous videos, the reason I use free-for-alls is because it just keeps these videos under manageable times. Which is why I also only show gameplay for one of the weapons instead of both of them. A lot of people from the previous episodes of Weapons Face-Off, I said I should have shown video of the FAMAS and the M16. First off, I think you've all seen enough videos of the FAMAS out there. As well, no one wants to watch a video that is 2 games long. So I choose one weapon, explain how I use it, explain how I set it up, and I think that should be good enough. And like I said, I prefer using the Commando over the AK-47 just because at longer distances you kind of lose enemies with the upward quick kick of the iron sights with the AK-47. And I'm using it with my preferred attachment, which are the dual mags. Perks are once again my preferred setup with the hardline, the hardened, and the ninja. And I'm going to reiterate and re-emphasize this fact to you guys. You want to stay medium to long range with this weapon. You do not want to get in an up close and quarters fight. Because like I said earlier, the AUG and the FAMAS have submachine gun fire rates at 937.5 rounds per minute. Whereas these two sets of weapons have fire rates at 750 rounds per minute. And if you run into a person up close using the 74U or MP5K, you might as well just lay down in the fetal position and take it and die, because you're not going to win that gunfight 90% of the time unless there's a really big gap in skill, because those guns up close are deadly, and with the slow fire rate of this weapon, you're not going to win that gunfight most of the time. But that being said, this gun medium to long range with Hardened Pro, especially in maps with a lot of cover and buildings such as firing range, really shines. You can cut through those walls like a hot knife through butter with the Hardened Pro attachment. As well, if you do run into medium situations and you're going one head to head against a person, the reduced flinch with the Hardened Pro attachment really helps. This is especially true if you're using 3-burst assault rifles such as the M16 or the G11. But like I said, the Hardened Pro attachment on the AK-47 and the Commando really suits their play styles, as well as their stats and their overall abilities. Alright, that's enough talking about the Commando and the AK-47. Let's move on to actual map strategy. And even though we are playing a free-for-all, launch is one of those maps that is notorious for the spawns being constantly flipped if you're playing objective-based games as well as TDM. So even though, like I said, this is a free-for-all, just be wary of the fact that the spawns flip constantly on this map, and be wary for the fact that enemies will be coming from behind you if you have a large amount of your teammates ahead of you. And my overall strategies for playing a free-for-all on this map is what you're seeing I'm doing right here. I cycle between the two main respawn points, so that back area which is just in front of this little computer room, as well as the far end of the map where there's that desert area where the dogs come in as well. And what I do is I cycle between those two areas, run between where the B flag is on domination, where the rocket is, and just kind of cycle between those 2 points. And I find that those strategies or that strategy in general is the one that I remain the most consistent with. And as always, as you can see from the screen right there, my puppy took a claymore to the face apparently and survived it. And this is puppy vision for any of you guys who are new to the series. Everyone can agree that chopper gunner footage is pretty lame, so this is what I bring to you guys to kind of spice it up and give you something a little bit more entertaining to watch. And this puppy vision was actually one of the more entertaining ones I had. I think this puppy actually gets, the one that I'm following around gets like 5 to 7 kills. I can't remember exactly, but a pretty decent puppy vision in my opinion. And unlike the other videos, this one is not gonna actually finish with the chopper gunner or the puppies, just because the chopper gunner on this map, especially if you're playing team-based games, because how it revolves around the map as well, there's a lot of cover on this map for people to kind of hide out in, and the dogs have troubles kind of covering the entire areas. So you most likely will not get a whole bunch of kills in a free-for-all with the chopper gunner and dog combo, so in most cases you will have to finish it out yourself with your gun of whatever you're using. Nevertheless, the gameplay is coming to an end. The final score is once again a flawless 30-0, and I think another player for the final kill cam, the guy kind of just gave up at that point and started shooting his pistols in the air. It's kind of disheartening. Made for a pretty lame kill cam, final kill cam, but what can I do? So yeah, that is Weapons Face-Off episode 4. If you enjoyed the video, all I ask is that you guys give it a quick rating. It just helps me out. And as you can see, it takes a little bit more work than your standard Black Ops video that you're going to be seeing online. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for episode 5 of Weapons Face-Off, the Stakeout versus the Spaz 12. Thank you for watching. Thank you for Machinima for letting me post. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.